Hello everybody and welcome to week 5.
Five.
It's going so quickly.
I know, 5 weeks already.
So 5 weeks. Hope you've had a good 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You had a good week, Alison.
Yes, I have. Yes.
What have you done?
One of my big things got ticked off, which is our pool got finished. So that was a big ticket item on the initial listing of all the things that I'd love to achieve. However, we've got real life versus Instagram life, and I should put up a picture later on of what it looks like when I collimate in and we just see, I took a photo of Coco sitting behind near the pool versus when you collimate out and see the whole rest of the backyard that looks like an absolute tip. So we've still got decking and concreting and all those things to go, but the pool's done. So that's been super though, because it's that thing, isn't it? It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
And as you said to me before, don't worry, it will happen, and it will happen.
It does get done.
That's the thing. Won't happen overnight, but it will happen. But it's just that step, isn't it? Right? Yeah. So that's the whole idea that this goes for a year.
Goes for a year. So if you don't realise what week 5 is Chicks Who Click, Alison and Sam's Dream Life Experiment. So what we're doing is we've come up with a whole bunch of goals or ideas of how we would love to live our life. And over the next, 365 days when we started, we're making just some tiny little inroads to making that more of a reality. So that might be whether it's just because we bring awareness to it or whether we actually make some actual physical changes, and it's something that takes time. It's not something that we're doing overnight. So if, for example, one of the things you wanted to do was to lose some weight, then it's not something that has to be done like that. It's take a little bit of step each day towards those goals, which hence the pool was one of the...
Yeah, and funnily enough, what I've noticed in putting this stuff down, in writing it down, taking daily actions towards it, that's happened much faster than I thought it was going to. That wasn't even on the cards to being done when we started this. That was a pie in the sky. One day I would love to have the pool look like this, because it meant, separating a backyard and all these different things. So that's interesting in that when you get serious about it, when you really mean it and say, I'm going to take a step every day that leads in the direction of that, even if it's saving $1 towards that holiday, it's quite interesting how much faster it can happen. Maybe we underestimate our true power to get stuff sorted when we are actually really intent on it, for example.
And I do think that saying actions speak louder than words. And obviously if you go through to John DeMartini's work, you look at your values, and what he'll always say is whatever you are doing, saying, thinking is what your true values are. So it's really interesting, again, why we're doing over a year, because there may be something that we think that we would love to have, but none of our actions or our conversations or our thought patterns are actually there. It's a fantasy, it's not a truth. So we're just working our way and wheedling our way around what we're doing.
And I use my gratitude practice every day for that, because I write things down. By the way, I'm patting a dog in case you're wondering. If you hear noises, this is Tia. Come on, you wanted to be in it. That's Tia, the wonder dog. Like, we wonder if she's a dog or a cat. Like, really, what kind of dog is this? Anyway, she wants to be in it. We notice the things that we keep on repeating. So I'm noticing in some of Sam's posts as we're doing our countdown, little dogs are mentioned a lot. Food and recipes. What else have you got on yours? You've got sunsets and sunrises. So the patterns emerge, and they're clues to what you might really want. So anyway, that's a bit of fun.
So maybe have a look, see what you're posting, what you're driving towards, what you see. What you're posting, really.
That's the thing, isn't it? So I wanted to talk a little bit about something that's happened this week that I think is kind of exciting. I've been running this little thing called The Magic. We've talked about this, about manifestation, and it's really about the practice of gratitude. It's not about manifestation, it becomes that, but it's about just being grateful every single day, and adding the practice of gratitude to all the things, what you sing about, you bring about. So it's all of that. Okay, if I'm grateful for it before it's happened, then funny how it comes to you. And one of the things that happens in The Magic, and you guys can go here if anybody wants to do it, it would be called, does that say thesecret.com? I don't have glasses.
Look, shall we? It is called www.thesecret.
The World Wide Web.
I'll start that again. www. thesecret.tv.
Okay, so just go to thesecret.tv or just Google. What else would it be though? Remember that?
That's what you got in Stacey, wasn't it?
And you say www. And then before that you go http:// remember all of that? Anyway, whatever. You just say the secret check and you can make yourself a check, right? And so day 17, I think, of this little program that I'm doing, you get to write yourself a check. I wrote myself a check for a new computer, and I thought that it was just going to come to me by magic. What really happened is the old computer died, and I went, well, I need a new computer, I better go and buy one. And then when it got delivered on the day that the next day 17, as I was going through, and I was kind of cross because I went, well, that's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to just come to you. So anyway, whatever. I did the next one, and that's a check that's enough money to pay for accommodation for a week at a fancy resort that I want to stay at when I finally can celebrate that both my children have finished school, when I'm a moolie, not a schoolie, but a moolie. And so day 17 came around, and the next time around I thought, I better go and see what's on that check because I'm about to do my next one. And I didn't want to do it. I was a bit scared because I couldn't remember what I'd put on the check because I'd written the check and then just left it. And also so I didn't want to fail. So I went and looked what it was, and it was this bank account that magically, because I've been adding to it by our constant daily actions, the amount of money that I've written this check for, it's not quite right. It's out by, I've got $4 more in my bank account. And I'd forgotten what was on it. The day that I did it, I manifested it all day, got grateful for it, went in, what's it going to feel like when I'm sitting there, look at all of that beautiful blues, what's it going to feel like when I might have an Aperol spritz at sunset, I'll be sunset. You know, I did all of that feeling stuff and then put it in the folder. Here it is.
Can I just
$4 more?
$4 more.
Well, not $4,000 more. Anyway, universe.
For those people that might be a little not on board with some of their woo-woo and fairy.
I'm going to talk about woo-woo.
There is part of the brain, so the science part, there is an actual part of the brain called the reticular activating system. Mm-hmm. And it is a part of the brain that when you bring something to your awareness and it's something that you would like, then it looks for it. Mm-hmm. Okay? Or if you say something, it wants to make you right. Okay, so for example, I'd like to, this is an example, I don't actually want to get a new car. If you'd like to get a new car and you've decided that you would like a red Mazda CX-5, suddenly you will see that there are a lot of CX-5s, red ones on the roads that you never saw before because your filter system previously was filtering them out. Your filter system, the RAS, is now filtering them into your awareness. Mm-hmm. If you say something along the lines of, it's going to be a bad day, your brain will look for things to make it a bad day. Yeah. Okay, so if something happens at the start of the day, maybe you could rearrange your wording and go, okay, that was the one thing that was going to go wrong today. Everything else is going to be fabulous. Your brain will actually start to look for it. So there is an actual neurological process to this, not just
sitting around waiting for it to happen and whatever. Yeah. And it's also that other thing too, is that, like you said, we want to be right, but also it's about staying safe, isn't it? A lot of this stuff. You know, like if we keep ourselves safe, like I say a thing, it always works out for me. And so there's something above that though, and that is that it's actually good for everyone else for it to work out for me. It's actually, they're based on things that it's not about me putting someone else down or getting something that someone else doesn't get. It goes on there's a few pre-frames about that there's more than enough for everyone, and the things that I want are ultimately altruistic, everyone benefits. Like there's all of those things. So just start to think about whether or not you've got any of those personal rules, because you might have different rules. You might have a rule that says nothing ever works out for me, and if you do, cool, that's your personal rule. You made it up. It's not the law of gravity. You actually made it up for a variety of reasons throughout your life, stuff that happened, whatever. But is that resourceful? Do you like your rule? Because if you don't like your rule, maybe you might want to choose a different rule. Mm-hmm. If you want. Don't have to.
the choice.
But we've got to get safe with it. I think that's really important, because sometimes, you know, writing this check might feel really unsafe if you thought it was too woo-woo, for example, or if you thought that's something that I don't deserve or I'm not allowed to have. Like, I've, you know, worked on this to say I'm having this and I deserve to have it. And then I've written, like, once I got it, I wrote ticket, achieved, and wrote thank you, thank you, thank you. To who? I don't know. Me, probably. Some people might say the universe. That's kind of not my jam. But my thing is, like, thank you that I thought of it and that I'm taking the action. So
and
I'm
you're going to enjoy it.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to enjoy it. I don't even know what those little blue lights. I love those blues. My eyes just love looking at those different blues. Oh, it's a feast constantly. Anyway, but that's, you know, just a little bit of background on that.
So just to remind you, that was www.secret.
You don't even remember what it is. And I'm going to say, remember when the Secret movie first came out, and I am not at all disparaging the people that did it, but I felt like a lot of the Secret was just like, you got to just say, give me the new computer.
Where's my genie that I can
like,
run?
give me the new computer, which is kind of, I'm going to say, a little bit of what I was doing with the first check. And it was just going to arrive, but I wasn't going to take any action, that we weren't even going to do any research, and just that it would magically appear. And maybe that does happen. Like, maybe it does. Maybe you think about a Ferrari long enough, someone's going to give you one. I've kind of got a rule in my head that it means that I'm at least supposed to do some stuff in the direction of that dream.
Yep.
That's what mine is. If you've got a better rule though, if you've got one where it just comes to you, then have at it. And by the way, teach me your strategy, because I've got a block around that. So interesting.
Well, I can say that Gia here, she...
Did you see her pushing into your hand before trying to get more pet?
Yeah.
The dog that can never have enough.
Yeah, and the dog's not allowed on the sofa.
Well, she's not. She's on my leg.
Oh, okay.
She's got us on a technicality.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So she only does it when you're here, because she knows soft touch versus not so much. Anyway, go.
Just going to say we'll see you next week.
Okay.
6.
See ya.